I remember sitting there on the set in Philadelphia with you, Mike, on the draft set in that awesome spot, in the makeshift draft hall in front of the Rocky Steps, looking out at, Ben Franklin Parkway with 100,000 people on it. And you and I think we all thought, potentially that Reid was trading up maybe for Deshaun Watson. You probably had a little bit better of an inkling that it could be Mahomes, but neither of us thought we'd see 7 straight AFC Championship game appearances and multiple Super Bowls like this, right? I mean, it's crazy what he's become here.
It is crazy, Rich, and what it brings to mind as you talk is a couple points to me. And number one is how important the fit is at every position, but especially a first-round quarterback. And, you look at some of these guys that last year played well on their, former first-round picks, that, whether it's Sam Darnold or second-round pick up in Seattle, Geno Smith, whatever. Ultimately, you need the right fit. And I remember my draft report on Patrick Mahomes, and I was worried. And I think I said on the network at one point that I thought he was either going to be a Hall of Fame player or out of the league in 4 years. And that brings up what we just spoke about a second ago, which is the fit. He went to the perfect place for who he is, because Andy Reid is not only a Hall of Fame coach, he's player friendly, he's really quarterback friendly, and he's so creative in taking advantage of what a quarterback does best. And I think that marriage between Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is the main reason why they're in their, whatever it is, 7th conference championship game in a row.
Yeah, and 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, and he can, and Reid is now, in Philadelphia. When you and I first started working at NFL Network, he was just breaking through and as a championship head coach and made a ton of NFC championship games, but not a lot of Super Bowls. And we were talking about clock management, this, and his way of handling that. And now he's in the same conversation as Belichick and Shula and Landry now. What was he saying to you before drafting Mahomes, though, that made you think, like, at the time, this is a good fit? We were talking about like gunslinger Favre type guy when we were sitting on the set there in Philly. What was he saying to you back in that day?
The reality, Rich, is I watched every throw Mahomes made that year in college at Texas Tech. They didn't even have a winning record, if I remember correctly, that year. And for every wow throw on the positive side, there was a wow negative throw where he was trying to make too much happen. And I think Andy's perception, I'm guessing, and Brett Veach and everybody in that building, was that if we get him with the right people and he's a smart kid, and get him surrounded by an offense that takes advantage of the upside and helps him mitigate the downside, helps him understand what the downside means, with complementary football, which is what I think the Chiefs maybe do better than anybody, is complementary football. And that really brings up a third name, Rich, which is their defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo. And, the last 2 regular seasons, it's not like Kansas City's offense lit it up, but they didn't lose many football games, and they got better and better as the year goes on, and they peak at the right time. And, Spags is a guy that I think has that defense playing at the highest level in the NFL. They understand complementary football. They understand situational football. And, Rich, when the big moments come along, they rarely screw them up. I mean, they know what they're doing, and they expect to win that game.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.